When you catch something in the corner of your eye, it may just be a monster that hardly ever reveals itself. A unique, hidden variant in the shadows. These are the 10 most rare B.O.Ws.
Gold Tyrant. The Tyrant series alone is an extremely rare species for one simple reason. They are very difficult to produce. Only a couple of people's DNA would mesh with Tyrant herpes. So could you imagine a golden variant? You'd think this thing is the second coming of Christ, a very disturbing version of Jesus. The Gold Tyrant is found in the bonus mode for the classic Resident Evil, specifically in the Sega Genesis ports, and I don't know, it looks more Mountain Dew yellowish to me. It's definitely not canon, but a cool addition to an awesome boss character. Blue-eyed Novistador. In case you didn't know, in Resident Evil 4, the old-ass one, you can actually shoot that gelatinous Novistador sack down. It'll take some ammo, but it's worth it. Over a dozen Novistador gemstones drop. You might notice something though, a shit ton of red and green gemstones, hardly any blue ones. Within the Novistador species, the blue-eyed Novistador is among the rarest to spawn. There's an actual drop rate to this, 50 green eyes, 35 red, and only 15 blue-eyed ones. Consider yourself lucky if a blue-eyed white dragon Novistador drops down, spits acid at your face. It'll be good coin for the merchant. Urias Drak Butcher. The two latest Resident Evil games share one thing in common, being able to return to an area and finding a unique B.O.W. There's various examples of this in the RE4 remake, like the Golden Knight, but for me, the Urias Drak Butcher in Resident Evil Village takes the cake. This scary as hell monster isn't even found in a previously visited area. It's an extra hidden area just out of sight. As you approach this thing's meat factory, a little story plays out with what you find. Blood spatter, bones, meat, hung up corpses, and buckets of blood. And I mean buckets. You'll hear a constant smashing sound as you approach the entrance, and there it is, the Butcher, a unique side quest enemy that isn't really nice to unexpected visitors. This thing will bash your face in if you get too close, so keep your distance. And if you manage to put it down for good, there's a decent reward located in the exits. 21 Molded. One person you'll never, ever want to play cards with is Lucas Baker. As a matter of fact, you don't want Lucas in your line of sight. Guy's a complete freak. Lucas and the Baker family caught dozens of hitchhikers over the years, so much so that I'm sure they grew bored of having so many kidnappees. Didn't know what to do with them. Lucas, ever so creative, has two victims play a sick twisted version of 21. The loser, well, let's just say you don't want to lose, but if you do, you'll lose some fingers and get shocked. It's a torturous situation to be in. When you go on a win streak against these unfortunate souls, eventually Lucas will run out of normal people for you to play with. He'll bring out a goddamn half-molded, half-human variant to play with you. This thing is kind of adorable, kind of like seeing animals doing human activities. It even has its own speech patterns, it grunts for commands. The molded can speak, believe it or not. We never get to see a complete human to molded transformation, and I guess this is one way to experience it. Red Hunter. These are starting to feel like shiny variations of Pokemon. Just me? I don't know. You probably don't want to catch a hunter. This thing will chop your head off on sight, as the hunters are known as the apex B.O.Ws in the series. Think of raptors, but way more vile and disgusting to look at. The hunters are all very green, sometimes kind of brownish, but in some instances, the hunters can spawn in a reddish hue. These are known as Red Hunter Alphas. There's a specific method to spawn the supposed Red Hunter in the Resident Evil remake, by entering the first hallway after getting the helmet key. It just jump scares you, and it definitely looks like a different shade of color than the other ones. I've looked up some info and people's opinion on it varies. It could be the lighting that makes it appear red. Some people think it's more of a brown hue. Either way, don't attempt to catch it because it's not nice. It's not nice at all. TNT Forest. I just had to include this one, and I'll tell you why. A quick summary for those who may be unfamiliar. There's a hidden Easter egg in Resident Evil Remake where Forrest Speyer, the dude who got pecked to death, will chase you around with loads of explosives strapped to his person. If he catches you, the entire game explodes. Not only that, he'll randomly appear in different rooms. He's quite fast, so you may want to do a quick enter/exit in every room. Now, a goddamn kamikaze zombie is easily one of the rarest variations within zombies, so I had to include this because of how stupidly funny this is. TNT Forest is a legend. Parasite Super Tyrant. This entry is rare in two ways. It appears in Operation Raccoon City, a game that people rarely play, and its creation is somewhat of a rarity. A tyrant that was ambushed by parasites, which ultimately leads to an extremely powerful mutation, the Parasite Super Tyrant. While it's not found in the actual game, it's part of a side mode. The Super Tyrant may be the most obscure of the bunch. Usually when the T-Series pops its ugly face in an RE game, it's a pretty big fucking deal. This abomination is the middle child of the bunch, and as a middle child, I feel your pain, Parasite Tylenol. God/Mr. G. Don't worry, I'm going to tell you all about God, a character you most definitely haven't heard of. There aren't many characters in the series that fill that mastermind archetype. The two that I can think of is maybe Oswald Spencer and Mother Miranda. We don't really know who's pulling the strings in the current timeline, but for all we know, it could be this God character, also known as Mr. G. Found in the comics, this is a billionaire Umbrella higher-up turned madman. During the fall of Umbrella, just before shit hit the fan, Mr. G had his brain removed so that he could live on inside other avatars, or bodies. Yeah, some stuff should stay in the comics. Then again, we haven't really figured out who's behind the connections. Could it be some random brain hooked up to a monitor, telling all the bad guys what to do? I mean, it's Resident Evil, after all. Baby Drain Damos. Even though the Drain Damos are disgusting throat monsters, this is actually a beautiful, miraculous entry, the gift of life, in the form of a baby Damos that squirts out of its mother's ass while the game is playing. Can't think of too many live B.O.W. birth occurrences, so this is a pretty rare sight to behold. And sorry, we're all out of barf bags. Regenerator knockoffs. There are a decent amount of raspy breathing regenerators found in RE4. The thing is, developing regenerators is somewhat of a scientific miracle due to their temperature weakness. Yes, this face is a miracle. Want to see something even more miraculous? How about the concept models that never saw the light of day? I can't think of many games that do this. It's pretty rare to be able to see the knockoff versions of the actual monster in-game. Usually they're locked behind concept art or in a very dusty museum. I'd like to take this time to name them, since they've gone unlabeled for decades now. This one's got a whole lot of mouth space. This is Fangboy69. This one actually kind of looks friendly. He's got a hunchback and he's shrugging like, I don't know, I'm just a goofy looking idiot. That's Gifford. Oof, now this one had the worst luck. Looks like the plaga did not mesh well with its host. I'm calling this guy Brendan Fraser. Just no reason at all, just Brendan Fraser.
Like and subscribe for more horror content. And as always, stay single.